Hey, hello and welcome. This is the Ascension Football Show. I am Joel Villafana. Zonal football takes the spotlight today. How important is zonal football? What role does it play in our national footballing landscape? We go up north and down south on the Ascension Football Show. Here's what's coming.
I had the CDS who was in my corner that will back me 100%.
If I playing football since I 8 years, why I going back in football?
I was about 8 years playing with Laughter Youth Lovers for Dave Commoner.
All right, to a big story, as I told you, zonal football at the front burner at the top of the show today, and we start with the North Zone. Now, they have a new president at the helm. He is former national goalkeeper, former national goalkeeping coach, none other than the man Ross Russell. And he is here with us to break down what is happening in the North Zone. So we're focusing on the North Zone first. Ross Russell, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me here, John.
So, Mr. President, you're getting accustomed to that title, sir?
Yeah, I'm getting accustomed. Quite quickly.
Quite quickly. You have no choice.
No,
You have no choice. So first of all, tell me about your desire, or was it a desire, or were you thrown into administration?
Well, you say desire, you know, as a player, you always desire to go to the highest. I think being a president is the highest you could go in any zone or any place you go, right? And I'm just willing to help. As you know, Joel, you know me from
Playing days.
playing days. I always want to extend to the highest and help. Being a president is just to help the zone that I live, the zone that I played for. Because, you know, I was at the Defense Force, which is the champion teams of North Zone. So, you know, getting the presidency is just a step to where I should go.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the challenge of now being, as I said, on the field, coaching, playing, to actually now playing an administrative role and running a zone, many would say, Russ, two entirely different things.
Well,
Can Ross Russell, the goalkeeping coach, the former Defense Force man, handle this?
Yes, with my background, I think I could. Because coaching the Defense Force, I think I had the role of a technical director, which was nearly as hard as this job I'm doing here now. Mm-hmm. The only difference with that I have a lot of people behind the scene helping that I could go to. You know, I had the CDS who was in my corner that will back me 100% no matter what is the situation. With this job now, you have to go out and search for help and for people to really give you the support, which are the Defense Force help is right there around the corner.
Mm-hmm. Structure in place already.
Yes.
Yeah. Personally, Ross, how the adjustment from, as I said, being on the field, coaching, to sitting behind a desk and having calls to make, how that adjustment for you, was that a major adjustment?
I don't think so. I think it comes easy because of, as I told you, I coach the Defense Force team, and the we could say the degree of the job at the Defense Force is you always have to be on edge. You always have to do the right thing. You always under the scope. So calling and making contacts is our natural way. I work at the headquarters, which is the administration area, and this is part of our job. Mm-hmm. And leaving as a staff sergeant is my job to organize. So it comes with the fold that I left. Mm-hmm. So it was easy going in. It's just that you had to adjust the different areas of football. Now we have to deal with different people. It's not like on the field you only deal with a manager, you only deal with the heads. Now we have to deal with teams, you have to deal with structure to put in place, you have to deal with sponsorship, you have to deal with a lot of different avenues that maybe it might be a little tough, but the person I am, I think I'm a people person. So I feel I will do a good job. It's just leave it for people to see.
Yeah. The last election that you would have won, December, yes, you're laughing. It would have been December, right? December 2020.
Yeah.
2020. A little contentious. I understand the election, based on reports, had to actually be done twice. So explain what happened and what the experience was like in terms of the election process.
Well, the election was two elections it had really, because it had election on the 26th, which
Right.
is Boxing Day, which is very difficult for anybody to come out.
Right.
We had a brilliant turnout.
Who was that? Who brilliant idea was that to have the election on Boxing Day?
I think the clubs.
The clubs
Yeah,
all
they
decided
did-
to
yeah,
have the
the-
election on Boxing Day.
The clubs decide that, this is the best day for it,
Right.
because they were there. We had different meetings with some of the club members and all that before the build up to the thing, which they nominate me to take the mantle and run with it, and which I agree. And the 26th was, well, it was attended by, I think, 10 clubs, which it looked like the 10 clubs was voting for me. One didn't vote for me,
Right.
and they announced me as the winner. So, so with that, I went about president,
Right.
take all the kudos, calls that are coming. My strike squad buddies all happy.
Yeah.
Not to know Sunday evening I got an next call that my next election on the 28th, that I have to attend.
Right.
Frankly, I wasn't going to attend.
Right.
But then when I study, I done make the step.
No,
In-
but let's
into
talk
the
about
shit.
about why and how did that second election come about on the 28th?
Well, I think the administration that was in charge didn't see it as the election had any value.
The Boxing Day election.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they called the association, the TTFA, to redo the election.
Why? Because it was Boxing Day. Well, why didn't all the clubs, 10 clubs?
I
turned up?
really
You
didn't
don't have an
know.
answer for that.
I didn't have an answer.
Wow. Okay.
So when I got the call, I just say, well, all right, I'll attend. I say, if it have 16 clubs in the North Zone and 9 already vote for me, I'm halfway there.
Right.
So I attend. And
And what happened in that second election?
but it was a landslide victory.
You won again.
I won again.
You beat them once, you beat
Yeah,
them
I
twice.
beat
Right.
So it have no doubt.
Yeah, I have no doubt that
nobody
you are
mind.
Mr. President of the
Yes.
North Zone. Fair enough. The North Zone has been one of the contentious zones, as I said, in terms of, I suppose, the management. Each zone, I would suppose, has its own issues.
Yeah.
But the reports immediately coming out of that election was that Ross Russell, as the new president, has been handed a debt of over $200,000 that he has to deal with. I mean, football already struggling financially, Ross. You now facing a $200,000 and almost $50,000 debt. That's what I'm seeing.
Yes, it is. It's actually there, but it's just we hasn't got our hands on it, or we didn't get the details of how it came, and the procedures seems to be a little more difficult than I thought, because the handover takeover for the account is left to me that the administration of the past, I just say past because they're no longer.
Yeah. Would this be
It's not coming forward with all the information for we to go forward and do our duty.
Right.
Because we know it have a debt, but we don't know what the debt is all about.
And you don't know who you're owing.
And we don't know who I'm owing.
You serious? At this stage, this is how many months in?
2 months and 13 days.
Right. Have you done a proper? This is under Anthony Harford,
Yes, it is.
former that was the last president.
Last president.
And no proper handover has been done. You're saying in terms of
No. The handover, the books,
Mhm.
but the account is less,
less
just less.
$200,000. You're saying. All right. So what's the plan to deal with that? I don't know if you do
No,
have a
well,
plan. at
we
this
have
stage?
an accountant that is dealing with it's two banking, dealing with the banks, and trying to get the information so we can go forward.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know who you owe, you don't know who to pay.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what the debt is for, you can't really pick it up. And the books hasn't been handed over to us properly. It's just, what I could say is registration and all these different things that not really the issue right now, because we're going into something that we don't really need to know who register.
Yeah.
It have clubs that was not paid from since 2018. It have the referees have not been paid since 2018. So it's a lot of different things into the debt.
Wow.
And nobody seems to have it written or could account for it to say, well, all right, it's this we owe and that we owe. We have to now go.
So there's no documentation as to
not really.
that you have seen across your desk?
They have a document, and it's not really right, because when we call certain clubs, it's not the right figure. It's not the, so we are now doing our own audit and our own investigation into the matter. Till I now ordered the GS about 2 days ago to call each club separately and find out what is the problem they had, what is the debt if we owe them anything, because going into the job, you don't want to be behind the 8 ball at all. You want to go forward.
So that was
before even we step on the field, we already in those problems.
Yeah. So that was my next question, because you're behind the 8 ball.
Yeah.
Ross, I mean, literally, you're on the back foot before you even hit the starter. You're facing a debt. I mean, getting the zone up and running functionally, properly is going to be a major challenge.
Well, I'd say major is a challenge. You know, major is when you see problems. I don't see any problem.
Even with the debt that is...
No, I don't see much problem. What is the problem is that the previous administration is not letting go of like, we've been elected and you're supposed to hand over everything. You still have things that being hide. So for we to sort it out, we had to get that out in the front burner so we could deal with it properly. Right now we are more seeking the way you can say the noise from the clubs. Because we had to rely on the clubs to tell us what is really going on, instead of we dealing face-to-face with the previous administration, and they say, well, this is what we owe, this is what we owe. They have nothing documented.
All right. So at this stage, we could be assured that you and your team working on at least the audit to get that, the accounts back in some sort of order. All right. Coming out of that, what is the state of the zone where, as I said, the clubs are concerned? How many active clubs do you have at this stage?
We have 16 active clubs. And, well, we're in contact with all 16. So I think we're in the right zone, because I think they are willing to come out and work with us, because they know we are new executive. I think they already knew the debt before we even get elected. So they know it's nothing that is made up. It's something that is facing the zone. And for the zone to come out, we have to work together to get out of it.
You hit me the catchment area, because we see in Port of Spain. I want to go through this with each zone as we look at the zones here on the show. Hit me the catchment area that Port of Spain covers.
Well, the North Zone covers from Sawa straight to Diego Martin, Piti Valley, Carenage, Maraval, going up Blanchishes. All these areas is in the North Zone. And I think we have a good grouping, because I think most of the areas have been represented by clubs.
No, so most of the catchment, most of the areas are across
Lavanti,
the catchment.
Everybody.
This league played in the Savannah, based on my recollection, the Queen's Park Savannah.
Yes,
Still playing in the Savannah? The plans is still to play at the Queen's Park Savannah?
Well, it have clubs that don't have a home, like a home ground. So most of them, like you can say Belmont, St. Francois, they have to play in the Savannah. Right. Elements. I don't think they have a home really to play in Mova. So they have to come to the Savannah. But they have clubs that have their own home ground. So like Piti Valley, Diego Martin. We have a recreation ground, a stadium that they can play in. What we've seen happening in most instances is that some clubs don't want to play in certain areas.
Don't want to play in certain areas?
For some strange reason or not. But the assurance we is given them is that we will have security when we start to play.
Also, it's a security issue why some clubs don't want.
I feel it's a security issue, because you know the life is going now. Some clubs don't feel they can move out. Some clubs don't even want to go up Lavanti. So we have to find ways of getting them up there. Because we don't want to take out the village out of the the whole aspect of the game.
So is that why the Savannah becomes that sort of central?
Yeah, it's a central area. Well, it was played there from start.
Yeah,
so
I know.
The Savannah is really where North Zone arise from. So I think...
Is it ideal though in your mind? I mean, as president now, is playing football in the Savannah? I know the Savannah doesn't have any, real facilities to accommodate a proper game.
I will say a minor league effect. I was one of the guys who, I brought a team from Digo already, and I begged to play in Digo Martin Recreation Ground because I could have dressed it up how I wanted it. You could not do that in the Savannah.
Yeah.
Now, to play in the Savannah in this time, I don't think the government will pass it because we have no control over crowds.
Right.
So, if a game is played in the Savannah, how am I as the president to say who could come into the Savannah?
Yeah.
When the Savannah is a recreation facilities. You know, and the rules and regulation of the country don't warrant you playing in Savannah right now.
So do you have a backup plan, Mr. President?
Well, we are calling around to schools and stadiums, but everything comes at a cost.
Right.
And I start with a cost.
Yeah.
So it's a little more difficult for me than I think the other zones where might have the structure in place, where teams have the grounds and all that. So it's for I to go out and seek the help.
You have a lot of work to do, sir.
A lot.
Yeah. The football, when the football is ready to start, what kind of timeline you have in terms of getting all these I's dotted and T's crossed?
No, well, from previous meeting with my executives, we decided to start the youth football first, which will be really played in the Savannah. But it's just the protocols we have to put in place for that. And then we'll move on to the senior football a little later in the year, a date to be announced. But we are ready to start, especially youth football. But still, we have to wait for the government and the protocol.
Yeah.
And that is left to be done.
That's paramount. Yeah. That is important. You're in the job. You're the president. You, as I said, more or less starting on the back foot, starting behind the 8 ball. But give me your ultimate vision. Give me where you want when Ross Russell leaves the North Zone, whether you serve 2-3 terms, where do you want to take the zone?
I want the zones, the clubs in the zone to be able to move from North Zone to 2nd Division to 1st Division to professional if it have it at that time, just to move up, to be able to be financed and to be confident enough to move on. Right now, what has happened to the zone football, the clubs don't have that confidence that they can move on because of finances or whether the organization do not serious or what. So we have to do a lot of marketing in my zone, North Zone, to put that belief in the clubs that we aiming for higher. I as the president, well, you know the level I played at and I work at, I always aim for the highest. I had a club that the facilities we had and everything had, it was near to, even when we play against a professional club, it's very difficult to break we down because we had that belief that we could leave from the zone and go to the highest level.
That's what you want to instill.
That is what I want to leave in North Zone. That when you go and you pass, and even if you had a play in Savannah, you could see it dress up in a way that you want to know what's going on in the Savannah.
Roll your sleeves up. Plenty work to do in the North Zone. Yeah, we're going to be digging into the zone, and I know the North Zone was one of the contentious zones, as I said, coming out of that election. Well, Russell, I want to wish you all the best. As I said, this is a new cap you're wearing. Well, all the best to you, my brother.
I hope it's not tight.
Yeah. I think it's have a little thing behind the cap you could release, just in case your head get too big for the cap. Ross Russell, the new president of the North Zone here in Trinidad and Tobago, the North Zone football, and we are going to be digging into these zones over the next couple of weeks. When we come back, we just head up north, we're going down south.
The situation we have here is that these characters, and I refer to them as pests, right? What they are doing is destroying our country, but not on my watch. No street, no turf, no block shall belong to these cockroaches, right? It's no longer business as usual. Happy hour is over. If they don't fear God, at least they will fear Terminix.
Have you considered how your methods could impact on pests across the country?
I find we look after the rights of pests as opposed to the rights of the 1.3 million law-abiding citizens in Trinidad and Tobago. I wonder if Roach Ladden's son come here for carnival, if you'll interview him, eh?
But how could you defend one shot, one kill?
What, you want me to throw a pillow at him?
I didn't say that.
No, well, if a roach jumps in front of you now, what will you do?
Run.
Oh, Jesus, Lord Father.
Pests bothering you? Call Terminix at 672-5007 or 672-0042 or visit our website at terminix.co.tt for a free quote and consultation. Join our fight against pests.
Get in the game with Ascension. Quality for champions.
Hey, Ascension! Ascension! Premium quality and style make you stand out all the time. Ascension is quality for champions. Ascension fit is always right. Take your game to higher heights. Ascension got the quality for champions. So everybody say, hey, oh, we wearing Ascension when we play. To run out on the field in style. What's the brand that we want? Ascension! 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 We wearing what we wearing is Ascension. Quality for a champion. Ascension! We wearing what we wearing is Ascension. Quality for a champion. Ascension! We wearing what we wearing is Ascension.
Get in the game with Ascension. Quality for champions.
Pests bothering you? Call Terminix at 672-5007 or 672-0042 or visit our website at terminix.co.tt for a free quote and consultation. Join our fight against pests.
Amante Del Cafe is located at Magnificent Mall, number 271 Southern Main Road, McBean, Couva. Amante Del Cafe. Happiness begins with brew. Lasso Free Maritime Limited provides boat storage, hull and launch, boat repairs, boat engine repairs, secured parking, 24-hour security, and extensive camera system, boat charters, boat rentals, and down the island parties. For more info, contact 634-1653. Lasso Free Maritime Limited, the best in marina services. Life's better on a boat.
So as I promised, we're talking zones and we're going up north and down south. So time to focus on the South Zone. The president of the South Zone, Mr. Richard Kwanchan, is joining us on set now. So happy to have you here, Mr. Kwanchan.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, I gave you enough trouble in years gone by, so now we can have a nice conversation about South football.
Yes.
Yeah. South football is one of the catchment areas in this country that would have produced many a national player. I think the South Zone and the South area is a very proud district when it comes to national football, correct?
Yes. We can go back to way back with one of the things I remember, Bobby Sukram.
Yeah.
Right? Bobby had the Douglas brothers, Wilfred Cave. Deep South was very good at it. Right? But in the South Central, San Fernando area, that used to be a big catchment area because we had presentations and Naps and Benedicts in that area. So we had a big section of people playing football in and around San Fernando for long.
Talk to me just about the catchment area in terms of what the South Zone represents. Is it going as deep south as you mentioned? Is a big catchment area?
It's just deeper than that.
It's a little deeper than that.
We go from Claxton Bay in the north to Icacas in the south.
Wow.
When we come back San Fernando and we go east, we go as far as Moruga. Then, well, Princestown, Moruga, the whole Diamond, all Pinal, it's a very large catchment, Gasparillo, all in back zone. Right? The only, I think, zone that might compare in acreage is the eastern counties because they go from Rio Claro to Toco. And when that was introduced, we lost Mayaro United and other clubs from Rio Claro because all that, Clive Mendez and the Alfred brothers, when they were playing for Mayaro, they were part of the South Zone. So there has been some changes and we have reduced a bit, but we are still extremely big.
Yeah. And you've been involved in the South Zone now for how long?
In the South Zone as a member of management or board, I've been there for 5 years, 6 years. No, I started in 7 years.
Right. In your assessment, Mr. Kwanchan, managing such a large zone with such a wide catchment area, how challenging has that been? Have you all been able to, at least put a handle on it?
It was, at times it can be difficult. And, but we have managed, we have very committed people. We have a general secretary who, I don't think she understands what is weekend and midweekend thing. We have Bullet who has been there as this last week we celebrated his 50th year in football. Right, and we have Spencer Howard. He's part of the UTT arrangement. So we have people who are committed to the development of young people in sports. Makes it a bit easier, right? As far as reaching out, we have people who would go down to Erin, go up to Moruga, and try to arrange meetings with clubs to see, because we have been trying for a little while to get people to understand that in football there's side, team, and clubs.
I like that.
Right? And we have been trying to turn our teams and sides
into clubs.
And that is proven very difficult because a lot of the younger people are not interested in club life. They're willing to play football.
Far side.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? And that is their commitment to it. There are some young ones who show good aptitude and attitude, but I don't talk about when they reach secondary school and girls start carrying their school bag. It's spoiled.
A girl never carry my school bag.
Yeah,
but go ahead, go ahead. Yeah.
So, yes, we have been able to do it, and I think in South Zone, one of the things that helped us is that we had a school of excellence that ran for a number of years. And while that was going on, the parents were involved because our school of excellence went from 5 to 18, 19. So the parents were involved. We had a number of people coming out of that who ended up on U.S. football scholarships, school football. But over the last 5 years, finances has hit rock bottom, so we're having problems.
Right, you said a number of things that I just want to come back to. The finances is one, but I want to come back to how do you get young people, young players to develop that notion of not wanting to play for a side, but wanting to be part of a club system? Because I'm supposing if you get that going, then you would see a different player.
Yes. And that, I think, at this point, is one of the most difficult things to do.
Yeah. Is that the major challenge now, or is it changing as professional football becomes a bigger thing in Trinidad and Tobago?
Professional football, to me, is nowhere near medium size.
Yeah.
So I'm not even talking big thing, right? Because a lot of the young players, they look at the glamour in the sport. And they will tell you about Messi and Ronaldo. But if you talk to Messi left his parents or his nation when he was 12 years. Cristiano Ronaldo left his parents when he was 8. So the other day when they asked him if he'd coach at the end of football, he said, I had to be mad people. He said, I playing football since I 8 years. Why are you going back in football? So they observed a certain amount of ability, And somebody ran with that ability, and they developed in him the attitude that hard work brings results.
Bring that back locally for me now.
I could tell you something that upset my heart. We have footballers who have traveled with a number of national teams, Pan Am, CAC, Commonwealth, all of them. And we have national players who are not sure how the words of the anthem, which to me is a frightening thing, because if you cannot recognize or sing your anthem, who you play for? Where's the pride in that?
So are the zones and some of the clubs that these young players coming out from responsible for that?
I think everybody who is responsible for developing people have to develop in them the pride in doing what you have to do. And yes, I know it is difficult for some coaches, some so-called coaches, because while they might know some football, the people aspect of coaching, they're not good with that.
Yeah. Bring me back to South Zone. How many teams right now are represented? As I said, a wide catchment area. Have you been able to do the entire spectrum of these?
In 2014-15, we had 19 clubs. In 2019, we struggled with 8 clubs.
8?
8.
So you went from 19 to 8 clubs?
8 clubs, right? And I am saying clubs for want of a better word.
It has some sides in there.
It's only side and siding.
Only so then this gracious, wonderful South catchment area that produced all these national players, you tell them are now in trouble, Mr.
In trouble. Okay. Petrotrin from about 2011, or just before, partnered with us in running South Zone. One time it had the Leonson Lewis group and the different groups, Mercy Russell Latter Peak group and that kind of thing. And that their support started fading. But football today has little to do with pride and ambition and desire to be the best you can be, but they look more at what are the immediate financial gains. I'll give you an example. I am from Texaco, Petrotrin, Trinidad. I came through that era. Clayton Morris was coaching the club side, right? I was the chairman of the club at the time. I met Clayton in the yard, and we talking football. 2 young fellas came in, dressed in jeans and ordinary clothes, street clothes. And they asked, we want to play with this club. So I said, well, in the right place. So the coach have a chat with him. So Clayton says, so when I come into train, you know what was the question? What are you all giving? Because you come in a jeans. I don't know if you could play football, but you want to know what I given you to come and play for me. I didn't call you. You came, right? And that is what is interfering with it. When the club was playing really good, we won South Zone for about 3-4 years straight. Clayton was coaching. They came and they said they want Petrotrin United in the professional league. And they take all the players from the club sides, because Petrotrin United means Petrotrin, Pointe-à-Pierre, Palaseco, and left the clubs with nothing.
Yeah.
And the powers that be didn't see it fit to financially continue the support in the club teams, right? So when that happened, we started drifting away, right? So those are some of the problems we are having.
All right, so Mr. President,
yes, sir.
How are we fixing those problems in the South? So let's start there, because I mean you've identified a number of little issues and big issues as well.
Big issues, plenty issues.
Because as I said, eight clubs for such a wide catchment area is very worrying.
Right, it is. Right now we have
What's the plan to fix all that you just spoke about there, Mr. President?
The first thing we have to do is to get...
I promise I wasn't asking hard questions.
No, ask any
You're
question.
making me now ask some hard questions.
No. We, as the management of South Zone, have challenged all the clubs, sides, and teams to demand from us that support, that we can come to your place. We will show you how to run a club, how to start a club, what is needed to do it. We were invited to 3 clubs, Superior, Spurs, and they are one of the stronger teams in Superior. So we will go in and try to get these sides, these clubs, these teams to recognize that if you have a club, that you can look at the development of the children of the club, right? So that you grow in them from small, that camaraderie, that teamness, that you can actually see it coming out without having, my pet peeve is cussing on the sports field. Pet peeve of mine, right? So we have been trying to do that, but because the majority of things we have is sides, the side have one man. The day he and feel to come, the day he and buy jersey, there no uniform. So we have been trying to grow clubs, and it has proven to be extremely difficult because the existing clubs or teams is such a limited in scope as far as teamness go. They're not willing to spend the time because club life is a life in itself. You have to be part of it. You have to be willing to work with it. Like any good marriage, nice girl, nice boy, if there's not that coming together of minds, it is going to crash. And we are going through that now. We had a national player who started a club, and he came, he registered, the club come out, all kind of nice young players and things. And by October, November, they stopped going to games because the coach couldn't afford to pay Maxi to carry them all about.
Yeah, and that's a real situation.
That is a real situation.
Mr. Kwanchan, a lot of issues that you've raised, I am hoping, as I said, as the Ascension football tournament pumps some resources and I'm now doing some assistance at the zonal level, we will start seeing a lot more sides turning into clubs.
Yes.
And the importance of club life here in Trinidad and Tobago will improve. That will only be able to improve if we get, as I said, the development of the player. Very, very interesting discussion. Thank you very much for sharing your information. And Mr. President, obviously you have a lot of work on your hands in the South Zone.
Yes, we have plenty to do.
Woo! I didn't know when we go up north and come down south, it would have been so much. When we come back, much more still to come.
The situation we have here is that these characters, and I refer to them as pests, right? What they are doing is destroying our country, but not on my watch. No street, no turf, no block shall belong to these cockroaches, right? It's no longer business as usual. Happy hour is over. If they don't fear God, at least they will fear Terminix.
Have you considered how your methods could impact on pests across the country?
I find we look after the rights of pests as opposed to the rights of the 1.3 million law-abiding citizens in Trinidad and Tobago. I wonder if Roach Ladden's son come here for carnival, if you'll interview him, eh?
But how could you defend one shot, one kill?
What, you want me to throw a pillow at him?
I didn't say that.
No, well, if a roach jumps in front of you now, what will you do?
Run.
Oh, Jesus, Lord Father.
Pests bothering you? Call Terminix at 672-5007 or 672-0042 or visit our website at terminix.co.tt for a free quote and consultation. Join our fight against pests.
Get in the game with Ascension. Quality for champions.
Ascension! Ascension! Premium quality and style make you stand out all the time. Ascension is quality for champions. Ascension fit is always right. Take your game to higher heights. Ascension got the quality for champions. So everybody say, hey, oh. We wearing Ascension when we play. To run out on the field in style. What's the brand that we want? Ascension! 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 We wearing what we wearing is Ascension. Quality for a champion. Ascension! We wearing what we wearing is Ascension. Quality for a champion. Ascension! We wearing what we wearing is Ascension.
Get in the game with Ascension. Quality for champions. Amante Del Cafe is located at Magnificent Mall, number 271 Southern Main Road, McBean, Couva. Amante Del Cafe. Happiness begins with brew. Lasso Frey Maritime Limited provides boat storage, hull and launch, boat repairs, boat engine repairs, secured parking, 24-hour security, and extensive camera system, boat charters, boat rentals, and down the island parties. For more info, contact 634-1653. Lasso Frey Maritime Limited, the best in marina services. Life's better on a boat.
My name is Barry Sinclair. I'm a goalkeeper of Terminix Locketa Rangers. First time I remember being in goal, I was about 8 years, playing with Locketa Youth Lovers for Dave Commoner. It was, I think it was Republic Cup. Well, I had a neighbor. I was a defender before that. I had a neighbor, he liked to save. And I used to go and watch him play football on the field. And like he was the only goalkeeper, had nobody else like to save. And I just pick up the habit of liking to save us. Everybody else wanted to play forward, defender. Didn't have no goalkeepers, and I just like being a goalkeeper. I like to dive. Like from phase one Locketa, it's a little hard growing up in the ghetto, watching everybody, all my friends. Well, not, I wouldn't say my friends really, yeah, but people I grew up with in the streets, had no job thing. So I was trying to be different from everybody else. And I realized I had talent and I wasn't wasting it. Well, the same coach I had, Dave Commoner, he sent me to play with Southend. I was playing with Southend for about a year or two. Then I played notice with him again, and I stopped football for about 2 years. Then I went to secondary school and I started back to playing Form 1. The first club I played was Locketa Youth Lovers. In phase 5 feeling for Locketa. It was with Dave Commoner. It was a little tough again because I was the only the youth goalkeeper. Everybody else again wanted to play all over. And it was a little hard on me because I alone was there. And I had a next, I can't remember his name, I had a next goalkeeper. I don't think it was hard as because I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't know what it was about. Playing as a professional footballer at North East Stars, it was good. It was exciting for me because I did what I wanted to do and I was getting to do it. I wasn't doing a professional goalkeeper because it was a way out of being on the streets, being disturbed by doing bad things. It was one of the options I had, and I realized it was one of my only options, so I took it and come on the streets. And this is what I'm doing for a living now. I didn't play no pro league until I finished secondary school because, to be honest, I didn't really book type. I didn't really like schoolwork and thing, but I realized that I have a talent and I ain't going to waste it. My mom was pushing me. My father is pushing me, my mother is pushing me, my aunt is pushing me. Everybody try to push me as best as I can because they know my abilities, they know what I could do, But it was, at the beginning, it was real hard because I was getting frustrated. We was losing a lot. I was getting plenty goals. And I was about to give up. And then Dave come and call me, tell me that, oh, well, before that I was playing with the St. Anne's team. They said, well, we had a meeting, but the team get squashed, thing. And after they say, well, they was telling me that I was had a screening and Dave is the new coach. But I my coach since I was small, so I called him and he told me to come down to Derby grounds. And I went screening there and they were get picked to come and play with this team. It was very frustrating because every game I used to get plenty goals and it was real hard. I was about to give up, but my mom and them keep me motivated. And I realized they were really wanted and I didn't want to go and work, and so I keep doing it until I get better. Then the team was going to get scrapped. So then they say I thought we had a new coach, was Dave Commoner. So I called him and he told me to come screening in Derby grounds. And they were selected to come and play for the Lakota Terminax Rangers. The experience of Lakota Rangers is very good. I'm playing some of the best players in the country right now. We're winning a lot, what I'm not accustomed to. But it's going good for me for now. Yes, this team has improved my game a lot. Like, I see a big change in my life now. I'm getting better in the goal. Coach Hard is scoring me now. I'm doing great. And I wish to take it very far. My ambition right now is to go and win the Ascension League for my boss, or manager, and go on to play many other years playing football for this team. And I'm hoping to get a contract away right now. Well, to me, I'm one of the tallest goalkeepers in Trinidad and Tobago. My height is 6'6", and I could see myself on the national team in a few years, saving for my country, representing my country, and carry them far to the World Cup. That's one of my dreams.
All right, guys, welcome back. Time now to head to our coach's corner. And for that, here's Ansel Wilcock.
Thanks, Joel. Today we're talking about defensive line, using the touch line as an extra defender. If you're a left back and playing on the left side of the field, and the right-sided player coming against you is right-footed, want to go along the line, what you need to do is to push him as close as possible towards the sideline. Right? As I say, get close, overcommit towards your left side so that you can stop the cross, and also get close enough to him so that he cannot raise his head to cross the ball. The main objective for you to do is to get him to turn back and head backwards towards his goal. You have to be 100% sure you're going to win the ball. If you're 99%, don't go. 100% go. So because the skillful players will wait for that 1% to go past here. That's a wrap for Coach's Corner for today. Back to you, Joan.
Yeah, we've been digging into the zones, guys. Hope you're getting a lot of the information coming out of the zones and seeing where we are with regards to our zonal football here in Trinidad and Tobago. That's another show. We'll see you back here next week for another Ascension football show.